all over again without ending it first. But anyway, it's a Friday morning, and as you make your way into work, into school this morning, probably sitting at about 50 degrees, so you still need that jacket again this morning. Going to be another fantastic night for high school football all across the Tennessee Valley. I mean, your temperatures tonight, probably around kickoff, going to sit around 68 degrees. And then about halftime, you're going to be probably about 64. So you're going to want to make sure you bring that jacket tonight and may have to wear some long breeches out there for some high school football. So should be a good night. Going to be a good night for the Charger tip-off downtown. Get on down to that. That's going to be at 7 o'clock. You got football at 7 o'clock. So there's all kinds of stuff going on. And then tomorrow you're going to get to wake up and you're going to get to enjoy a fantastic day of college football just in the SEC. Not even in.
You really don't have to move from your couch, honestly.
No, you don't, because you can wake up at 11 a.m. because you got a fantastic game. You got that Ole Miss Kentucky game at 11. You got the Auburn LSU game at 2:30. Then you got the Bama game immediately following that at 6.
Actually, Bama and Arkansas.
Oh, Bama's
CBS,
2:30.
CBS,
Auburn 6 o'clock. Yeah.
Auburn is 6 o'clock. On the Plains. Yep.
I keep thinking we're a week ahead.
Yeah.
And the Auburn Georgia game.
ATM doesn't. They don't want to be a
2:30.
week ahead. They're because they know they're fixing to get beat down.
What is it going to be like next week inside here? I mean, is it going to be one of those weeks where, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but you have been building up for next week, I think, for
we're
2.5 months, ever since Jimbo did what Jimbo did, or Dirtneck did whatever he did.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
Looking forward to that. Alabama's got a big mountain to climb against Arkansas, though.
Yeah, they do.
So the game still means as much. Of course, I know this shocks a lot of people, but ATM has already blown a game against Appalachian, and then but they found a way with a horseshoe up their rear and to win the Jerry World Classic. So they are still undefeated in conference play, and they're going on the road as an underdog to Mississippi State. On our sister station, The Blitz, Sports Radio, and on the Recruiting Blitz, I talked to Steve Robertson yesterday. There's growing confidence among Mississippi State that they can win this game this weekend. And as he told me, and this is something that I said, Steve, you're right. He said they don't play this up enough, and especially the national media doesn't talk about it. But since Texas ATM, and he didn't say that, I'm saying it, but joined the conference over 10 years ago, Mississippi State has a winning record over the vaunted Aggies. So, and as we know, Mike Leach got his signature win last year going over to Aggie land and burning it to the ground. So they're going to be trying to take 2 in a row and continue winning this series over Texas ATM.
I believe. Am I wrong? Mississippi State's been to the SEC championship game.
Oh, they have.
Yeah,
they went.
They
went in 1998, and they lost to the Tennessee Vols, who went on to win the national title. But yes, the Mississippi State Bulldogs have actually been to Atlanta and know what it looks like.
All right, we'll get plenty of time next week to break down Texas A&M and Alabama and all that fun stuff that goes with it.
Hail State.
Congratulations, though, to South Carolina and Shane Beamer. They get a win last night in SEC. They played South Carolina State, but still.
The game that was moved up.
Yeah, nonetheless, they get a win. But really, we do need to start with the NFL because it is the story that everybody was talking about last night. Actually, it was the story that everybody was talking about after last week's game. And that was when Tua appeared to stagger off the field. It looked like a possible head injury, but I'm sure if you follow the NFL, if you follow that, if you didn't, we're going to fill you in and get you caught up.
Then it went from bad to worse.
It said they said back injury. Tua was on the sidelines telling his head coach, it's a back injury. It's a back injury. Through NFL protocols or whatever, he's back on the field for that game. Back on the field last night for the Bengals game, and there was a lot of hype going into it because it was Joe Burrow and Tua the first time they had met since that epic showdown in Bryant-Denny Stadium. So there was a lot of buildup. And then in the second quarter, Tua gets sacked. He suffers head and neck injuries, taken to the hospital. He did fly back with the team, but a scary, scary moment in the second quarter.
Yep, he had to leave the field on a stretcher, no face mask on the helmet, and had a moment where you saw his fingers just contorted in just a gruesome way, and of course, a medical expert said that's basically a symptom of head trauma, because for the second straight time he hit his head. I mean, he got thrown to the ground, landed on his back, but then hit his head on the turf.
2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. And it certainly looked like a head situation last week, not a back. When I saw it happen, I just figured when they had to take him to the locker room that he would not return. But he did return, and now the Dolphins are going to be grilled even more because of what happened to Tua. I just feel really bad for him because – and I've said it before, and I do think he's fragile, but I kind of bristle when people say he's not a tough kid. Oh, he's not the toughest guy. Okay, let me ask you a question, all you people that say he's not the toughest guy. He had a hip injury that was like a car accident, and he came back in like 9 months from it, okay, because he rehabbed. And it would have ended some people's careers. Right. And he had 2 ankle surgeries at Alabama, the lasso surgeries, missed 2 or 3 weeks, came back from both of those, okay? And again, and then in the NFL, he's had some injuries as well, including what happened last night. And he came back from the one and still led a victory over Buffalo after staggering off the field, against the Bills. Now, is he fragile? Yes, I would say that, but not tough. That's asinine and stupid. Yeah. Well, by people that are saying, basically trying to say he's soft. That's bull crap. Yeah. He's not soft. He's just fragile. The one thing,
even if you're fragile, the way he suffered it last night and 2 weeks ago, I don't care how tough you are, when you hit your head on the back of the turf, as hard as
when you get slung to the ground and you hit your head, it's just something that anybody is going to be, face that kind of situation. And then another thing too is he hasn't had much injury luck. The one thing I will say, and it's not a criticism, it sounds like it, but it's really not. It's just part of Tua's game. Is he still doesn't have that clock in his head, and he still hasn't learned about throwing the ball away, where you live to fight another down. He always wants to keep and hold the ball as long as he can, and maybe try to get rid of it at the last second. He needs to protect his body more. And, I just think he hasn't done that at times, because if you go back and look at all 2 of his injuries, including the hip one, Scott, he had chances to throw the ball away and didn't. Like within 5 seconds, like, okay, make 1 read, 2 reads, and then, okay, I'm feeling pressure, get rid of it. But he always tries to see if he can evade the pressure or break the tackle or whatever, and he takes hits that are unnecessary. It's just part of it. It's his style of play, but it's led to getting hurt a lot. And just pray that he's going to be okay. He had movement in all his extremities, and allowing him to go home with the team was a really good sign. From the hospital, like he didn't have to stay behind and continue to be monitored. He's certainly going to miss some time, and the Dolphins are going to be grilled over this by the NFL, because player safety is even from 5 to 10 years ago it's a completely different situation. Back 20 years ago, this wouldn't even be wouldn't have been a huge story. They just would have been like, hopefully he's okay and everything. There wouldn't be there could be a lawsuit. They could be sued. They didn't even talk about that kind of thing, but now they do, and that's a good thing. They're trying to protect the players, and certainly the Dolphins are going to face questions about this.
Yeah, the NFLPA has opened up a review, ongoing review, and what people want to remember is this has been a short week for the Dolphins.
Yes.
They played on Sunday and then played on
just
Thursday
4 days later
again.
Yep.
So normally you have Thursday, Friday, Saturday to continue to progress, or if there was a problem, you have those 3 extra days. This was a short week for the Dolphins and Tua. So anyways, that is the big story. The Bengals did go on to get the win last night, 27-15. It was a much-needed win for the Bengals. They needed that win. They could have ill-afforded to start 1-3, but the Dolphins suffer their first loss of the season, so that means the champagne was popped by the 72 Dolphins?
Yes, 72.
Yeah, popped by the 72
50th
Dolphins.
50th year anniversary this year for that.
Yep, so they will not be undefeated. Anyway, 256-576-4977.
Now it's just going to be how long is Tua out. Hopefully he doesn't have any kind of lingering long-term issues with this, and doesn't seem like he has any kind of broken bones or a back injury. They didn't mention that. This is totally head trauma they were talking about, but that's very dangerous as well. It's going to be interesting to see what all comes out of it and how long Tua Tagovailoa is ultimately going to be out.
All right, again, 256-576-4977. If you want to join the show this morning, feel free to do so as we can get to your calls this morning. All right, so the fun thing is, and obviously betting is huge these days, but a lot of places like to put out their projected final scores for this coming weekend. And it's pretty interesting to look at, and it's pretty interesting to mention. The Alabama-Arkansas game, the projected final score, according to some of those smart people out in Las Vegas, say it is going to be 29-7 in favor of Alabama. So that is what they say, 29-7. And so if you want to even take it further, the Texas A&M score, 28-15 in favor of Texas A&M on the road at Mississippi State. And I don't know how they can do this, but the projected Auburn-LSU score,
right,
15.93 to 4.53. So they are calling for that game to be about a 19 over-under in there inside Jordan-Hare Stadium on Saturday.
Yeah. We'll see.
More points scored than night. So
I've said all week, though, to take the
29.
under. I mean, I think the last time I checked, I think it was 45.5, I think. Right. And I was just saying take the under. I don't see it being a high-scoring game, especially if the Auburn defense plays well.
Okay. Does Alabama score more than 29 against Arkansas?
Yes.
Easily? You sound very convinced.
I'm not saying it's easily. I've got 31-17. So,
okay.
But yes, I have them.
When I say easily, they're over that 29-point mark.
Yep. And I just want to tell the Czar I heard the Unleashed this morning. The LSU Mississippi State game was not an easy win for LSU.
He did say easy in that. It was the second half. Wow, he gets a lot of knocks.
Yeah, they were up, double digits in the first half, talking about Mississippi State. And
right.
and LSU, it did pull away in the second half, no doubt, and they rallied. It was more a comeback win for basically for LSU over Mississippi State. And as Steve Robertson said on the Recruiting Blitz, and please check out the Recruiting Blitz on Blitz Sports Radio from 9 to 10 a.m. After our show, they dropped 7 passes. It was just like Mississippi State did not play well. They were their own worst enemy in the game, and they weren't very sharp, and they let an opportunity slip through their fingers, and LSU took full advantage. And really, it's their biggest win up to this point. And I just want to see, how they take this on the road to Jordan-Hare, and the LSU Auburn series, as we heard Matt Moscona on our show earlier this week, has been kind of crazy. So let's see how Auburn plays, and if they can, give it their best effort and have a chance to beat LSU. Unbelievably, if they do, even after all this conversation and talking about Harson's job, it would be a 4-1 record and 2-0 in the SEC. So that's what Auburn needs to be focusing on this weekend. I just don't know how they're going to generate a lot of points, just due to the fact that Robbie Ashford has been struggling throwing the ball, and I don't know why they. I would think they wouldn't have been. They obviously didn't need to be sandbagging against Missouri because they barely escaped in that game. But you would hope maybe they would show some zone read wrinkles and RPOs and something to play to the strength of the quarterback. Because if they come in with the same game plan against LSU that they had against Missouri, I don't think they'll score 10 points. Just because LSU is good enough on defense and athletic enough to stop the run. They're a lot better on defense than Missouri, And that's why I was saying take the under, because what's going to fascinate me is how Brian Harsin and this offensive coaching staff, are they going to continue to try to put a square peg in a round hole, or are they going to make some adjustments? Because we really haven't seen it thus far.
Missouri, by the way, they're 34th in the country in pass defense. They only give up 192 yards or 198 yards a game.
Yeah.
So, I mean, as bad as Missouri is defensively, they're not quite so bad. Alabama, by the way, has a better pass defense right now in the country than Georgia, believe it or not. I mean, everybody says how good that Georgia defense is this year. Alabama has only given up 138 yards through the air per game this season, which is sixth best in the country. Georgia is averaging 171 yards through the air, giving up 21st best in the country. So right now, just pass defense-wise, the Alabama defense is much better. Auburn, by the way, because if you're wondering, well, how LSU might be able to win this ball game, Auburn is 65th in the country, giving up over 220 yards through the air per game. So maybe,
but Jaden Daniels is not exactly, that doesn't remind me of Joe Burrow. That's all I'll say. I mean, he's certainly a good runner, and he's been improving as a passer, I guess.
Right.
But we'll see what he does against this Auburn defense. But, I mean.
So who would you take as a passer, Jaden Daniels or Robbie Ashford?
Oh, Jaden Daniels all day long. I mean, he's got extensive starting experience. Robbie Ashford is still this is the first college football in 2 years that he's played. And so that's why, trying to tweak some things offensively to give yourself a better shot against LSU would be wise, because I'm just telling you, this Auburn offensive line is not dominant enough at the point of attack to get enough movement without, doing some different things offensively to me.
By the way, Arkansas, 126th in the country in passing defense. They give up over 302 yards
they've struggled.
per game. So is Alabama's game plan like it was against Vanderbilt?
I wouldn't be surprised if they came out up-tempo and tried to throw the ball. Especially without Jalen Catalon back there, and then try to be balanced. I think they can run the ball too. I mean, even a 1998 offense from Texas A&M, ran the football with A-Chain for nearly 200 yards. So I think this Arkansas defense, Alabama, should be able to move the ball. But at the same time, I know they'll probably Barry Odom will do some different things and show some different looks. But I do think if Alabama executes up front and doesn't make mental errors and get penalties, I think they can win the game. I think it's going to be tough because I have a lot of respect for Arkansas's team and their culture and how they play. But I still think I think the number's a little high. It was 16.5, 17, and as you said, the projected score you gave out this morning was Alabama covering, but. I've got Alabama 31-17.
Alabama, by the way, best rushing defense in the country as well. Or
and
not in the country, not in the country, best in the SEC.
That's going to be the key to the game. They got to stop Rocket Sanders and the QB, because KJ Jefferson doesn't get enough credit for how good a runner he is. He's a load.
Alabama has only been giving up 62 yards a game this season. By the way, James Madison has the best rushing defense in the country, only allowing 26 yards per game.
Tell Appalachian how good they are.
26 yards is what they've been giving up
32-28, they beat Appalachian, unlike Texas A&M with the highest paid defensive line in America. I mean, per capita, they probably, I would imagine most of those starters on defense for Texas A&M make more than the Appalachian coaching staff.
Alabama has only allowed 2 rushing touchdowns all season on the ground. Georgia has allowed 1, but they are giving up 86 yards per game. By the way, my Iowa Hawkeyes, I talk about how bad they are on offense.
They're good on defense.
They have yet to give up a rushing touchdown this season, with Michigan coming to town on tomorrow.
They've kind of been the boogeyman for Michigan. This is going to be interesting.
Now, I did tell Wolverine Dan he wanted to know where to go, and so Steve actually
he's going to the game. That's right.
Yeah, and so I sent him to go to the field house. Now, you can go to the field house in Iowa City, but that's more of a that's really heavily on the college side.
Fried chicken tenderloin sandwich.
I told him to go to Jonesy's. But they have different sizes. They have the small, medium, and large, extra large. You got to get the large or extra large. If you're going to go all the way to Iowa,
cover one?
Yeah, you got to go big or you don't go at all.
Right.
And then there's a couple other places that I had him that he needs to go see and stuff. So he's going to be in Cedar Rapids. He's going to be in my hometown.
There you go.
And so
the home of Scott.
He is. Well, my
AKA Tapeworm.
Yes. That's where we're going to. Midwest food's a little bit different.
Oh,
it's
no question.
Not as sometimes it's not as flavorful, but it's all right. All right, we do got to get a break in because when we come back, we're going to talk some high school football. Randolph, they're going to be taking on Madison County tonight.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of new accidents in now. 231 in Twin Rivers. That's north of Hazel Green. That one is reporting with an injury. 72 westbound at Mooresville Road, headed into Athens. That one's reported as a no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Mercury Motors is your car and van rental headquarters. You can rent the vehicle you need today. Family in town, sporting event, church function, no matter what your need, Mercury Motors has you covered with a wide selection of cars and vans available for rent. They have 12-passenger Mercedes Sprinter vans, 12-passenger Ford Transit vans, 15-passenger Ford Transit vans, and 15-passenger Chevrolet Express vans. They have 2 locations, Highway 72 in Athens or Max Luther Drive in Huntsville.
This is Wes Neighbors talking to Chris Haygood of Bob Wallace Appliance. Chris, what sets you apart from other appliance dealerships?
Wes, these appliances are going into the most used room in your house, your kitchen. The way we have these appliances displayed, it's easy for you to visualize how they'll look in your home. Wes, what sets us apart is the people. They're well trained. In fact, they live and breathe these appliances. And if you need service, you'll really appreciate our parts department.
Contact Bob Wallace Appliance at 256-533-2121.
SportsMed is the official team physicians of the Rocket City Trash Pandas. And if the pros trust SportsMed, you can too. SportsMed provides every service you might need for complete orthopedic care, specializing in orthopedic surgery, sports medicine, joint replacement, spine surgery, neurosurgery, and podiatry. And they offer their own brace shop, in-house full-body MRI, physical therapy, walk-in clinic, and so much more. 4 locations and on the web at sportsmedalabama.com.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life. More important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4-RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway and Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
AVIQ.
Who is AVIQ?
AVIQ is audiovisual the intelligent way, where we put our IQ to work for your AV needs. With more than 100 years combined experience in audio, video, and automation, our team of experts is dedicated to one thing, helping you discover technological solutions that make your home special. Once you experience a game or a movie on one of our state-of-the-art home theater systems, you may never leave the house again. AVIQ can build the entire system for you or provide the quality components if you're a do-it-yourselfer. But AVIQ is more than just home theater and state-of-the-art sound systems. We offer a variety of control options for home technology. Energy efficiency, heightened security, and improved quality of life are all attainable through the automation of home systems. Intuitive and user-friendly control is our main priority in designing a system that meets your needs. Don't just take our word for it. You need to see it to believe it. Come visit us at our state-of-the-art showroom on University, just east of Jim and Nick's, across from AT&T, or visit aviqhsv.com.
This is Paul Feinbaum. Listen to me coming up today at 2. Now back to Talking Ball with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Good morning and welcome back to Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN, The Zone. It is 7:28 on a beautiful, and what can only be described as a beautiful start to your Friday morning, a beautiful way to end the week. And if there is an even better way to end the week with the perfect weather, that is at the end of 60 minutes, you are one better than the other team on the scoreboard. If you are a head coach or a football team on a Friday night, and tonight the Randolph Raiders will line up on the field once again looking to do that. Be 1 point better than their opponent in hopes of garnering yet another big region win.
Yeah, absolutely. They had an off week last week and did some self-scout and are getting ready to get back at it in 4A Region 8 play out at Tiger Stadium tonight at 7 o'clock. Austin Coletti and I will be on the call, and we always enjoy our weekly visits with David Lloyd, and he's with us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Coach, I hope you had a great off week. I hope everybody's rested up and ready to go. It's always great to speak with you. How are you this morning?
Doing great, man. We're looking forward to getting back on the field tonight.
Yeah, bye weeks are fun, but we always talk about how beneficial they are to rest and kind of get your feet up a little bit. But after going through about 4 weeks and then you got camp and all that other stuff, I know it's great to have it, but on the flip side, I can only imagine you're probably pacing at about Friday, about 7:30, kind of with a little bit of nervous energy.
Yeah, man. It's really good to get the bye week and kind of get some rest and recovery for some guys. Middle of the season, I think everybody's about the same. You're beat up a little bit, bumps and bruises. You got to try to get your guys as healthy as you can. But it's a little weird when you're not playing on Friday. You're having to listen to some of the games and see some scores and knowing you're not playing. But it was the bye week, the rest was much needed.
Yeah, no question about it, Coach. And I know one of the old adages, you either get better or you get worse, and you guys have been getting better. Offensively and defensively, you played at a really high level your last time out against Westminster on the road and got a big win, and you were the Bryant Bake ESPN 97.7 The Zone Team of the Week, and certainly I know you guys were excited about that, but I know you're even more excited to have a chance to win a 4A Region 8 championship. And what are some of the things that you guys tried to work on during the off week to get better on both sides of the ball and, of course, in the kicking game?
Well, like you said, self-scout, a couple of our defensive coaches did some self-scout of us offensively, showed us some different tendencies we had throughout the league and throughout the year, and, just trying to create some different looks and different things for that and try to break some of those tendencies as much as possible. Just getting ready for what we're going to see, tonight with Madison County. They're a good football team. So we're eager to get back on the field and play some football. It's been a couple of weeks since we've got to play, and our guys are ready to go, so we're looking forward to it.
After watching the film, and the good thing with the bye week is you can spend a little bit more time watching some film because you don't have to, get into that game plan mode right away. After kind of looking at that film a little bit more, kind of going in depth, what did you take away from that Westminster game to kind of evaluate your program at the halfway point?
I thought we did some really good things, especially up front on both sides of the football. I thought our D-line, our offensive lines played really well. And we had some guys come in. We got a couple of guys banged up in that game, so we had a couple of backup guys or younger guys come in, and I thought they played really well. And I think it's really key that you can get those guys reps and they can perform well. Next man up, I think it helps our depth moving forward. And if you're going to try to win your region to make a run in the playoffs, you're going to have some playable depth. And, we've been able to do that the last couple of weeks to get some other guys in and kind of get them prepared. We took a look at kind of our kicking game. We've made a couple of changes there that we hope are going to benefit us moving forward. So now we're just ready to kind of put it all together and see what it looks like tonight.
Yeah, we certainly are looking forward to that, Coach. And I wanted to call out a young man that stepped in when you guys got, a young man banged up, because Eli Isbell has meant a lot to the team. He got banged up in the last game, but Luke Miller, the senior, and it's unusual, for a senior to be a backup guy. And a lot of times seniors, if they've grinded in the program, they're usually a starter. But he plays a lot. But I thought he really stepped up when Eli went down, and really I didn't think the defense skipped a beat against Westminster. I thought he played very well, and certainly he'll be counted on tonight to play well.
Right. He's the next guy up in our defensive line rotation. He's played really well for us all year. With that injury to Eli, he got a chance to play a lot more there, and he'll get a start tonight. So we're excited to see what he does with for the full game, and just rotate some different guys. David Cleary got some time at nose guard. So we had a little bit more speed on the field when you're dealing with Westminster's quarterback. He's a great athlete, does a really good job. But I thought those guys that came in and got some more playing time did a phenomenal job for us up front. It really just goes back to Coach Sauster, our defensive line coach, and how he just gets those guys prepared during the week.
Yeah, he really does a great job. And George Jennings and Finn Dwyer have done a really good job too. I think really probably the most unsung part of that defense. I know William Collins is such a great player, and your secondary, led by Connor Goodson, has been so good. But that D-line has been really a key all year, Coach.
They've been really active all year. It may not show up in the stat sheets with tackles and stuff like that, but man, they allow our defense to play fast. They do a great job establishing line of scrimmage and making it difficult up front for other teams. And they've just come up with big play after big play when we've needed it. Whether it's a sack here or we get a fumble recovery here, those guys have always found a way to make a play defensively when we've really needed it, and they've just done a great job for us all year. We're really happy with how they're playing up front.
Yeah, defensively they've been good. They get off the field and they allow the offense to get out on the field, who, by the way, third best scoring offense in all of Class 4A right now is Randolph, over 45 points a game.
We've been very fortunate. We've got some playmakers on that side of the ball, and we've been able to find some matchups that we like, for the last couple of weeks. And our guys have just been executing at a high level. That's what we expect of those guys. That's what we prepare for during the week. And I think what you see on Friday is just a testament to how those guys work during the week. And, our expectation is to go out every Friday and execute at a high level. And, so far we've been able to do that. And, we hope we can keep that up.
Yeah, we certainly hope so. And Coach, I know a guy I wanted to spotlight on. I know he's going to be a captain tonight. He's scored a touchdown this year. He doesn't get as many targets due to the fact that Grayson is so dynamic, and Connor's been a big part of the offense, and Nick Strong. But a senior like Kenny Morris, he does a lot of things, without the football, and then has started to take advantage of some opportunities due to the attention of the other guys are drawing. But he's played well for you, the first half of the season as well as a senior.
He has done a great job for us, and the last couple of weeks we played, the games that Grayson Davenport has had, when you have a kid that's kind of in the zone like that, you're going to make sure the ball finds him. But we feel like at any point in time, Keegan could be that guy. He can take over a game. And really, kind of like you're talking about, some unsung heroes there. He takes such pride in what he does out there. He's a phenomenal blocker for us in the perimeter. We're throwing perimeter screens and then the run game. He does his job at a high level, and at any point in time, we trust him to go make a play and win a football game. He's done a phenomenal job for us. And he's always a part of our game plan going into Friday nights. We're just really happy he's out there and he's doing a great job.
Well, Coach, let's look ahead to tonight. What are some of that challenges that you've seen on film?
They've got some size up front, especially on the offensive line. A little more size than we've probably seen, especially recently. They've played two really good football teams recently at Madison Academy and Brighton. They're 2-1 in our region. They do some things offensively that kind of give us some trouble a little bit about how you're going to fit the leagues or how you're going to cover it on the back end. So I think we've done a really good job. Coach Matthews and his staff have done a really good job getting our defense ready this week. Defensively, they've got two really good linebackers. They've got two good defensive ends that do a really good job that are going to give a lot of people trouble. So we've got to be really good in our protection and how we block for the run game up front. And we're just going to have to take advantage of the opportunities we get, and make sure we want to start fast and jump out early if we can. But we've just got to be really sound up front on both sides of the football.
Yeah, absolutely, Coach. And also, this is a 35-21 game last year. That Madison County has, over the last decade or so, had some really good athletes, and I know this has been a series that's been hotly contested. It's certainly tough going on the road, but your team has played some of their best football. Certainly they were locked in against Westminster. I know it's going to take some of the same kind of execution, but talk about the way Nick has continued to get better. And I know one of the things you were stressing going into the off week was continuing to improve the running game, which seemed to make some strides in your last game a couple weeks ago at Westminster Christian Academy.
Right, and those guys up front, they take pride in what they do, and they want to be able to run the football. And that showed a lot, the last time we were on the field against Westminster. We've had a good week of practice with those guys up front, and they want to continue to get better. And, we've been throwing the ball well, but we know, those guys know, that at some point we're going to have to be able to run the football to win games. And they want that, as competitors. They want to be able to do that and run the football and kind of impose their will on guys to move the football down the field and put it in the end zone. So we challenge those guys every week, with what we're seeing. It's always a different look or different guys we have to face on Friday. So they're always challenged every week, and I think real competitors want that. So we're looking forward to, keeping that run game on track and continuing to improve that. Just trying to get the ball in the hands of our athletes and let our guys up front go to work.
Well, and Coach, I know it's this game is the road games in 4A Region 8 are difficult, but you've got a senior group that's very special that's kind of been through the fire. And what's going to be the key to getting a win over Madison County tonight on the road at Tiger Stadium?
We're going to have to execute well on both sides of the football. We're going to have some really good play from some of our guys that are stepping in to fill some holes, offensively and defensively. And, we're going to have to be really good in the kicking game. We're going to have to make sure we can knock down our extra points, cover well on kickoffs and do the things we need to do to be good there in special teams. But really it starts up front, man. We got to get pressure on them, and we got to be able to run fit, do the things we need to do to slow down their run game. We got to protect well up front on the offense, and then we got to establish a run game as early as we can.
No question, and it's going to be a big challenge. Austin Coletti and I are looking forward to being on the call. Please check out we will have Randolph football in Zone 2 tonight. Randolph will be traveling to Tiger Stadium to Madison County, and of course Buckhorn will it's going to be homecoming tonight for the Bucks against May Jemison. That's going to be on 97.7 The Zone's main feed, and then of course you'll be able to hear Madison Academy hosting Asbury with Steve Moulton and Glenn Laird on the call on Zone 3. Well, Coach, we're looking forward to tonight. Big chance for the Randolph Raiders to stay unbeaten in region play and continue on march toward a potential region title. It's going to be a great challenge for your team to go to Tiger Stadium and try to continue playing at this high level. And I want to also congratulate your program for having 3 of the last 5 AL.com Players of the Week, different guys, Nick Strong, Andrew Hunter, and then, of course, Grayson Davenport. Shows that this is a special group of young men that have played well so far.
Yeah, they've done a really good job, and those guys, are leaders for us on the field and off the field. They do a phenomenal job there. And, we have a really good opportunity tonight to show up and play at a high level and execute and take one more step towards hopefully trying to reach a region championship. We got a few more games we got to go, but none of that matters if we can't get through or not.
Yeah, it does not. That's so true.
Best of luck tonight, Coach.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank y'all.
All right. So if you look at that Class 4A Region 8,
yep,
Priceville is the other top team right now that has been playing really, really well. And in fact, Priceville has been playing so well that they come into this one
dominant
in Class 4A. They have only been giving up 12 points a game.
And none in the region.
Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, seventh best in all of Class 4A defensively.
Yeah.
Offensively, they've been giving up 37 points, or scoring 37.
Yeah.
So a 37-12 margin is pretty good. But Priceville right there, they're gonna host St. John Paul II. New Hope will host North Jackson. DAR will host Westminster Christian Academy. Those are your Class 4A Region 8 games.
Yeah, and Priceville has not given up any points in their 3 region games. It was in 3 shutouts. They've been totally dominant. I believe they're ranked 6th in the 4A poll now. So Chris Foster's team's really good. And if the Raiders can continue to win, and they've got 3 big games coming up before that finale in Week 9, which would be at Sports Med Field. They've got, of course, Madison County at Tiger Stadium tonight, and then they host DAR next week, Scott, and then go on the road to Tyler Johnson's New Hope Indians. So they've got to win those 3 games, and if they can do so, Nick Saban would say it's rat poison, but I think with the way Priceville's playing, it would be, for all the marbles, with a potential undefeated Priceville team. And then the only loss for this Randolph Raider bunch is to unbeaten West Morgan. But that's one of the showcase games tonight for you guys, is West Morgan's going to be traveling to Deschler for a huge 4A Region 7 contest.
Yeah, and surprisingly, Deschler just outside of the top 10. They come in at number 11 there. West Morgan, if you continued the poll, they'd be number 13 in Class 4A.
So the winner of this game got a great chance to break into that top 10.
Yep, they do. Mars Hill Bible entertaining the top spot in Class 3A rankings. And then tell me if you've heard this one before.
Death Taxes and the Fife Red Devils.
They're the top-ranked team going into the weekend, Class 2A. They received all 20 first-place votes in the Class 2A rankings. The Fife Red Devils did. Yeah. So, I mean, tell us if you've heard that one before. I mean, Paul Benefield and company, they just roll on. They just roll on. We did have a score from last night. We had a couple because there was a few football games played last night. Huntsville did get a win over Albertville last night, 34-7. That was a Class 7A Region 4 game. And how about this one, though? It has to be a shocker, I think. Scottsboro got the best of Guntersville, 17-14.
Yeah, that is a shocker. That's Guntersville's first loss of the year. They were undefeated, and I thought, well, here's about rat poison again. I was sitting there looking at my schedule last week when I was Austin Coletti and I brought you Buckhorn football due to the Czar and his daughter getting married, and he and John McGough were off last week, and Austin and I called that game over at Buckhorn and at Tommy Ledbetter Stadium. And I thought, that after watching Guntersville, and looking at their schedules, that Guntersville and Arab would have a chance to play for the region title, and they both might be undefeated. But then Fort Payne said not so fast and shut out Arab 21-0, and now Guntersville loses a tight one last night, 17-14. So obviously Chris Bell, who came over from Oak Mountain, is improving that Scottsboro team. So Scottsboro, I know they were in a rebuild when he got there, but certainly they're making strides this year in beating a really good Guntersville team 17-14. That's probably the biggest win of his time there right now.
Let's get a break in. When we come back, let's wrap up hour 1 of Talking Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of new accidents in now. 231 in Twin Rivers. That's north of Hazel Green. That one is reporting with an injury. 72 westbound at Mooresville Road, headed into Athens. That one's reported as a no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
Ann Adams with Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate is the one name to know if you're buying or selling real estate. With years of local experience, Ann Adams offers buyers in-depth knowledge of the local housing market and will narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in so you can save time when shopping for your new home. If you're ready to sell, Ann offers a seamless process using accurate pricing and expert negotiation skills to make sure you get a fair price for your home. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or log on bhhsriserealestate.com.
Tom Luganbill here for my friends at Woody Anderson Ford. Bobby White and his team take great pride in their service department, and you can see it the moment you walk into those beautiful new service lanes. And just like a championship team, they all work together to make sure your experience is second to none, whether you drive a Ford or not. Also, check out the gold certified pre-owned inventory at Woody Anderson Ford for great deals every day. Stop by and see them at Jordan and Sparkman or at Woody Anderson of Madison on Hughes Road, or visit WoodyAndersonFord.com.
Organizations using Salesforce know how powerful the platform is and how much time, money, and headaches it saves if it's set up right and you know how to use it. Let's face it, Salesforce is complicated and time-consuming to figure out, and a lot can go wrong now and down the road without expert help. That's why most Salesforce users work with an implementation partner like Higher Echelon, so they get the absolute most out of their Salesforce investment. Higher Echelon is a 5-star Salesforce consulting partner who won Salesforce Military Hiring Partner of the Year. President Dr. Joe Ross is retired Army who played and later coached for the cadets. He puts that experience to good use at Higher Echelon, where they pride themselves on hiring veterans. Look, not all Salesforce partners are the same. Don't put your company at risk by going with an inferior partner. Higher Echelon is the trusted partner you can count on to get you up and running and seeing returns on your Salesforce investment in a fraction of the time it would take if you go it alone. Go to higherechelon.com. That's HIGHERECHELON.com to learn more. Go higher and go Army.
Normally, when you call a roofing company, all you hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Since 1965, the folks at Fleming have been focused on what you need, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement, commercial or residential. And when it comes to storm damage, you want Fleming on your side. They know all the ins and outs of insurance claims and will guide you through the entire process. Log on FlemingHSV.com and book your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
I always wanted to learn Spanish, but I never thought I'd have the time. Then I discovered Babbel.
Babbel's lessons are fun. They only take like 10 or 15 minutes, and in 3 weeks, presto, you're speaking another language, like magic.
I love that Babbel's lessons aren't just robots talking. They're voiced by native speakers, so you get the pronunciation just right.
If you want to learn a language, there's no faster, easier, better way than
Babbel.
Babbel.
Babbel. Go to Babbel.com to try for free. That's BABBEL.com. Babbel.com.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellowhammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget Sunday brunch with Microwave Day. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Live local shows.
Hello.
Live local play-by-play.
Oh, now's a good time to check the radio.
Plus, the power of ESPN Radio. It's all right here. 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com.
What's happening? What's happening?
Welcome back. Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. What is happening is a little bit of college football, a little bit of high school football going on tonight and tomorrow. That is what's happening.
Yeah, and a huge series in New York. Well, in Atlanta via New York, as the Mutts are coming to play the Braves, and the Mutts have a one-game lead, the New York Mets, and it's been pretty tight ever since around mid-June when the Mets had about a 10.5-game lead, and then the Braves went on a hot streak. There was that one series in Atlanta earlier in the year. When they had a rematch in New York that where the Mets were able to create a little bit of separation, maybe about 3.5, 4.5 games. But since that period of time, it didn't. The Braves were able to quickly make up some ground, and a couple of times have tied the New York Mets. And I think for a very brief time led by half a game, but they have not been able to get over that hump. And in order to have a lead going into the final series at home against the Marlins, the Braves are going to have to sweep this thing. Now, if they take 2 out of 3, it's going to be tied, and there's going to be high drama with each of them having their last series of the season, their last 3 games. The Braves luckily getting them all at home at Truist Park. But again, it's going to be basically coming down to this. Now, if the Mets win 2 out of 3 of these games, then they're probably going to win this division. So The Braves need to win this series in order to have an opportunity in those last 3 games to win yet another division title.
Yeah, if the Mets take 2 out of 3 in this series, if the Braves get swept, which I don't see happening, then the division is the Mets because there's only 3 games left outside of this. If the Braves are able to take 2 out of 3, they will have a shot to win it against the Marlins. So what you really want is you want the Braves to take 3. You want them to take all 3 games so they can be 2 games up, and then that magic number would be 2. In the win column against the Marlins. So that is ideally what you want if you are the Atlanta Braves. And just to tell you how important this series was, the Braves knew that going into this last series, so they kind of rested a little bit of guys in that rotation to set up.
Bryce Elder and Kyle Muller started in the last series.
Yeah, what would be and the Braves are going to the wild card or the division. I mean, regardless, they're
going to the playoffs,
postseason bound. So what they did, though, is what you're going to see this series is the Braves rotation in the playoffs. That's what you're going to see.
They set it
Atlanta.
up for this. Yeah. And the Mets made a little bit of a tweak. They moved DeGrom up to game 1 to go up against Max Fried. And then we're going to see Max Scherzer go against our good friend Kyle Wright. And then Bassett got moved back to go up against Charlie Morton in game 3. That's your 3 pitching matchups in Atlanta on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And as you said, the Braves going for a 5th straight NL East championship. So this is big, and it's big for the playoffs too, Scott. Because if you do win the division, you get a bye in the first round of the playoffs. So your path to the World Series is shorter, and you get more rest if you can win the division.
So your wild card teams as of right now going into the weekend. Atlanta, San Diego, and Philadelphia. Those are your 3 wild card teams. Milwaukee, though, is only a half a game behind Philadelphia for that final wild card spot, that 3rd and final wild card spot. In the American League, Toronto, Seattle, and Tampa Bay are your wild card teams, and I'm pretty much Tampa Bay's magic number has got to be very, very minimal because they are a 5-game edge over Baltimore for that final wild card spot.
What a year for Baltimore, though.
Yeah.
I mean, to get back to relevancy and not being horrific.
They're 4 games over 500 right now. They've lost 3
Boston
in a row.
is not very good.
No, Boston is 6 games below 500.
Yes, they're not stealing signs, bro.
No.
And I'm a Red Sox fan, but they're not very good this year.
But Houston, the Yankees, and the Indians have all clinched their division. So they
don't forget. Look, it's the Guardians. I know
what
it's
did
hard.
I say? Did I say the Indians?
Yeah, well,
okay.
I the same thing with me, man. You got to remember to say the Cleveland Guardians. We don't want to offend anybody.
And the Dodgers, with a win yesterday, they are 60 games over 500. And Drew, if you're looking,
I think they set the team record for wins.
I think so. But there are, let's see here. I want to say the Oakland A's, the Washington Nationals, and the Pittsburgh Pirates have yet to win 60 games.
Yeah, they've all lost over 100.
Yeah, but the Dodgers are 60 over. They've won. They are 60 games over 500, while 3 teams haven't even won 60 games.
It's disgusting.
Yeah.
Of course, everybody knows how much I love the Dodgers.
See, look at that. We got Major League Baseball in the middle of a college football.
And we're fixing to talk Major League Baseball with our next guest.
Yeah.
Who's been very patient. We appreciate it.
All right, let's get in there next, and we'll talk some Atlanta Braves with Bill Shanks coming up next.
Hi, my name is Dan Aldridge. I'm here to let you know about the Aldridge Law Firm and the soon-to-be-announced Legal Town Center. I've been practicing law in Alabama since 1984, and I also practice in Tennessee. And I'm from North Alabama, and I'm here to represent you and take care of your legal needs. For many of us, hiring an attorney is not high on the priority list, and maybe a little scary. But it's something that we all need at some point. So by all means, do your homework. And if you need representation for car accident, wrongful death, medical malpractice, nursing home abuse, or estate planning, or any other matter, just give us a call at 256-534-3188. And you can email me at Dan, that is Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. Dan at danaldridgelaw.com. God bless America.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
WCZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a couple of new accidents in now. 231 in Twin Rivers. That's north of Hazel Green. That one is reporting with an injury. 72 westbound at Mooresville Road, headed into Athens. That one's reported as a no injury. Officers, construction workers, and first responders put their lives on the line every time they step on the roadway. Why not make it safer for them? Move over. It's the law. Captain Nick in the 72 and Jeff Popeye Skywatch Traffic Center.
From the Fox 54 Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Emily Owen. For this Friday, expect plenty of sunshine, high temperatures topping out in the mid and upper 70s for the afternoon. We could see gusty winds as high as 25 miles per hour. Heading into your Friday night, mostly clear sky, low temperatures going to be falling into the lower 50s for the overnight. I'm meteorologist Emily Owen on your home for ESPN Radio 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
NFL Week 4, the Bengals beating the Dolphins Thursday 27-15, covering the spread by 9 points. Dolphins quarterback Tua Tagovailoa hospitalized with head and neck injuries. On Sunday, the Saints and Vikings in London. New Orleans a 2.5-point underdog. The Falcons +1 at home against the Browns. The Braves trailing the Mets by 1 game in the division. The teams will meet for 3 games this weekend. 6 games left in the regular season for Atlanta at +105 on the money line in Game 1. New York -125, 6.5 the total. Red Hot winning picks at experts.winnersandwiners.com. Save 75% on any best bet package with the promo code ACTION75. That's ACTION75 at experts.winnersandwiners.com.
I'm Trey Westerberg, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Log on today, 977ESPN.com. Welcome to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond. Call into the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline now, 256-576-4977. That's 256-576-4977. Now, here's Scott and Drew.
All right, it's hour 2 of Talking Ball, 97.7 ESPN The Zone. And we ended hour 1 by previewing the NL East showdown in Atlanta, the New York Mets and the Atlanta Braves. There's only 6 games left in the regular season. This is the only division that is up for grabs. And at the beginning of the year, this is why the New York Mets made a change in managerial duties at the end of last year, and they went out and got Buck Showalter. Buck Showalter, no stranger to taking teams that were, kind of here and trying to get them up to there. They blew a 10-game lead to the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, 10
and this is kind of where everybody, I think, thought it would be anyway, between the Braves and Mets going back and forth. I don't know if you actually thought it would be this tight, but it is. And here we are on the eve of kicking off the biggest 3-game series of the regular season for both teams.
Yeah, and both are, on pace to have a chance to win 100 games. They both had outstanding regular seasons. The Braves trying to win their 5th straight NL East championship. What a job by Brian Snitker, the defending world champions. And certainly the Mets have been better than anticipated. I think everyone thought they would be a playoff contender, but maybe not quite as good as they've been. But Buck Showalter, as you said, Scott, won a World Series with the Arizona Diamondbacks, and has always had the Yankees in playoff contention, even the Baltimore Orioles. He's always done a very good job as a manager, and he's certainly made a difference for New York. And now, as our next guest affectionately calls them, the Mutts are coming to Atlanta for what should be a standing room only series, and the kind of baseball you live for. This is really postseason baseball, ending the regular season, but it's going to be 3 great matchups, and we're going to break it all down with the host of the Bill Shanks Show on the Superstations.com, and you can, of course, hear that if you in our market. Tune into the Superstations.com. They're on from 3 to 7 Eastern, 2 to 6 Central Time, and as good a Braves conversation as there is. And Bill Shanks is with us now to talk some Atlanta Braves. Bill, welcome back. You're with Drew and Scott. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are y'all?
We are very good, and I know this is a series everyone's been looking toward really since mid-June, when this really became a situation where the Braves started putting the pressure on New York and really playing good baseball. I know it's been a little bit of a roller coaster ride in the last month, but the Braves have put themselves back in position. Couple of frustrating losses to the Nationals in the last week by 1 run, both 3-2 ball games, but the Braves are within a game and control their own destiny, so to speak, Bill. And so they've set their pitching rotation up. Your thoughts on where the Braves are heading into this series?
Well, I'll correct you a little bit, Drew. The loss on Wednesday did kind of swing the pendulum back over to the Mets, because the problem is the Mets have the tiebreaker.
That's a good point.
And,
good point.
So the Braves really don't control their own destiny. They have to win.
Mm-hmm.
They need to win all 3 games to win the tiebreaker between in the season series, which will give them the tiebreaker, because they do not play a game 163 anymore. So the Mets got the advantage because that loss by Atlanta on Wednesday. That was a really big loss, and it was unfortunate because the top 4 hitters in the lineup when they combined 1 for 18, and they just could not get that big hit. So it was a tough blow. It really was. But look, I want to win the division. They want to win the division. All the fans want them to win the division because that's what they've done for 4 years in a row, and because they are playing the New York Mets, who we can't stand, and that's the big rival. So, of course, we want to see the Braves win the division and do well, but they've got to do well this weekend, because if not, they're going to have to rely on the Washington Nationals to win 2 or 3 from the Mets, and that's going to be tough, especially if DeGrom were set up to pitch on Wednesday in the finale. So, it's a very big series. I can't find through another series that equals this as far as importance in the history of the franchise.
Wow.
In Atlanta. I mean, it's that big. You're taking into account you've got 2 teams who are going to win 100 games and are just exceptional teams, and they're finding it out for the division. Now, they're both already going to the playoffs, but they're fighting it out for the division, and that's what people want to have is a division winners. So it's going to be big. There are 3 great pitching matchups, and it's just going to be a lot of fun to watch over the next couple of days.
Yeah, and the thing is Drew and I were talking about this before the hour ended, that this lineup or this Braves pitching rotation, this is going to be a good look. And yes, they are going to the postseason. They want that division title, but we're going to get a good look at how this Braves rotation will look in the playoffs in this series. It has that magnitude.
Sure, the playoffs start tonight, basically. I mean, you're basically saying, that okay, every game now that's being played is extremely important. You can't blow off a game, and not that they do, but you just have to almost look at tonight as the start of the playoffs, and it's not do or die. They're not going home if they don't win this series, but as far as preparing for what you want to do, I think it's always critical for any team, doesn't matter what sport, to win and play well going into the postseason. And so the last thing you want to do is to have a crappy series against the Mets at home and then go to Miami and wet the bed. You want to play well going into that final stretch of the regular season. So whether you play next weekend against San Diego or you wait and play the next week as the division champion, you're playing well. So that makes tonight unbelievably important. And I think with the crowd that will be there, which will be packed, and just the atmosphere, it'll be October-like weather in Atlanta. It's going to be, probably in the 60s. It's going to feel like it did last October, and therefore it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. And it's, it's critical for this team to be playing well now.
It really is, and these pitching matchups are going to be outstanding. And Charlie Morton's always kind of been a money guy and been really good in the postseason. We'll see if he can kind of turn around. He's been a little up and down, Bill. He still has 200 strikeouts this year. But I would say Charlie would probably tell you it's been a little bit of a disappointing season for him. But if they can, get him the ball with a chance to win this series or even sweep this series, which would be just amazing for Atlanta, I think he could rewrite the ending for himself this year. And what, to his standard, has probably been a disappointing season.
Well, probably. I'm sure he's not particularly happy with it. For someone that's paid $20 million to be at the top of the rotation, he's been more of a third starter behind Max Fried and Kyle Wright. But I think Charlie is a very good pitcher. He's been in this situation before. Like you say, he's the veteran that you want in this type of series, and we'll see how he does against Boston in Game 3.
Well, you mentioned just how big of a series this is. This is also that new year of the baseball format. The Dodgers will be the number 1 seed in the National League. The Braves, Mets, whoever wins this, they're going to be the number 2 seed. Whoever doesn't will probably be the 4 seed. And remember, the wild card games this year are best of 3, not just 1. So you mentioned how big this is. This is big for the seeding in this new playoff format.
Yes, it is, and we don't know how that's going to shake out. It's something totally brand new. I mean, you wonder if a team that has a bye, like the Dodgers definitely will, and either the Braves or the Mets will as the division champions, if they're going to regret having a bye because they have a couple of days off. Do they break that routine from playing every day or mostly every day? And that's the question we'll have to see. You have to go through another level of playing well, which, look, that's what the playoffs are. The playoffs are all about playing well at the right time against the best teams. And you'll have to go, perhaps through the Padres. Whoever does not win the division will have to do that as the wild card. And that's not going to be easy. The Padres are very good with Musgrove and Blake Snell and Yu Darvish and Soto and Machado. I mean, it's a really, really good team. They can beat you, So it's going to be tough, and it'll be tough to see. Again, like I say, I mean, I know teams are all players are going on adrenaline right now. They're going on trying to just survive and get through the postseason and do what they have to do. But it's going to be interesting to see if those 4 days are good or bad for teams.
It is, and we're talking to Bill Shanks, host of the Bill Shanks Show on the Superstations.com. And Bill, I got to say, too, it's been pretty remarkable, though. I got to give the Braves a lot of credit. This has not been an easy season. They've had injuries. We've seen Ozzie Albies miss much of the second half with 2 separate injuries, but we've seen Vaughn Grissom come up and talk and show what kind of special player he could be in the future. Now they get Orlando Arcia back. Arcia has been swinging the bat well. Interesting how the lineup's going to look. And then Michael Harris, he's got to be the Rookie of the Year. He's actually just gotten better as the season's gone along. I haven't seen any wear down from him at all. He's been remarkable, really.
Well, he has, and one thing we need to remember, I think, Drew, is that this is a much different team than the one that won the World Series on November 2nd.
Yes.
Much different. I mean, this is I'm anxious to see when the playoff roster comes out, whenever they start, how many people were not on that roster on November 2nd, because I think it's going to be significant. It could be maybe as much as half the team.
Wow.
And that tells you what we're looking at here, and as far as just the difference in this organization and how this has changed. I mean, obviously, only one of the 3 heroes from last year's postseason, Eddie Rosario, are still with the team, and Jorge Soler and Jock Peterson are obviously not. So, it's been a different year. There's always challenges. You always have things you look at and you're like, well, what's going to happen this year? What speed bumps are we going to have to go through? But they've had people step up and be very, very good. I mean, obviously, as you mentioned, Michael Harris has been outstanding. Spencer Strider, the 2 best rookies in the National League by far. You've had obviously Kyle Wright, who has just had a remarkable year. And I said at the beginning of the year that Kyle was a huge part of this team, because if he could really stabilize one of those rotation spots as the 4th or 5th starter, then they'd be in good shape. And he's become the 2nd or 3rd starter and just had a phenomenal year, 20 wins. I mean, my gosh, and he might win 21 if he can win tomorrow. So he's been big. We knew Max was going to be special. I mean, but there's been a lot of new that has popped up in this team, and that's what's made it fun and exciting and different, and I think gives them a chance.
Where do you put Kyle Wright as far as a Cy Young candidate?
Well, I mean, the only thing that probably hurt him is something that's really stupid, and that is that people do not look at wins like they used to.
Yeah, they just really don't. That's true.
They now look. He's got a very good ERA at 3 or low 3, something like that. I think 3.23. I don't have it in front of me, but he's had a very good year. I mean, he's going to get some Cy Young votes, probably not for the top spot, but I think some people will put him in their voting, and I think that's great. I mean, Max is going to get a lot of consideration. The kid down in Miami is going to get a lot of consideration, but Max Fried, I want to tell you something. Max Fried might pitch, or obviously he's pitching tonight, and might pitch on Wednesday if they need him to. I don't know how they're going to handle that. That's kind of a little bit of a question mark too, because if they have a chance to win the division on Wednesday, would they pitch Max Fried again on 4 days rest, or would they gamble and hold him off and say, well, the heck with it. If we don't win the division, we've got to pitch on Friday. We'd rather have Max pitch on Friday. So that's kind of an interesting thing. But Max is going to get a lot of consideration. But no, I think Kyle will get some votes, and he'll get honored as one of the top pitchers in this league. And, that'll be on his baseball-reference.com page for the rest of his life, that he was the Cy Young finalist and got votes in 2022, because he's had a great year. He really, really has. I mean, the maturity of this kid, and I think it's a great story. I really do. I'm not saying that because of where I'm doing the show at. I'm sure I said it on this show because I said on every show I've been on back in March. Mm-hmm. He was important for this year, and he did the job.
He did, and you've been an advocate of his for the last couple of years. You've been talking about his development and how key it would be for the future of the Braves, and certainly he's taken that step forward, starting with the World Series last year. But speaking of young pitchers, we saw what Bryce Elder did the other day with a complete game shutout. Is there a young pitcher that might step it up in the playoffs, even maybe get a chance to be in that rotation that could be a key for the Braves going forward, Bill, in your mind?
Well, it might be Bryce because Spencer Strider's not showing that he's going to be ready for the first round, or if they had to pitch in the first round, if they had to play the first round. I don't know if Spencer's going to be ready for that. I think there's a big question mark, and I probably would think that he's not going to be ready. So if that's the case, Bryce Elder's going to have to step up. I mean, he's had some very good starts. A lot of them have been against the Marlins and the Nationals, so people are going to be skeptical if he can do it against the better teams, and I understand that completely. Mm-hmm. But he may be needed. I mean, Bryce Elder may be a vital part of this equation here. And, Drew, we got to remember something. Whether it's Georgia or Alabama going to the national championship game or the Lakers or whomever going to the NBA Finals or the Buffalo Bills going to the Super Bowl, you've got to have heroes step up in the postseason. You've got to have people who are going to have to step up, and they did last year with Peterson and with Soler and with Rosario and Max, of course, pitching great, and Tyler Matzik, what a hero he was last year, right? So somebody like a Bryce Elder, and I want to tell you another one to keep an eye on as far as a potential hero for the postseason. That's Marcell Ozuna. Marcell is playing better, and I think there was some question of whether or not he'd be on the playoff roster probably a couple of weeks ago. I don't know about now. I think he will be on the playoff roster. I'll be surprised if he's not. And Marcell's playing better. He's hitting the ball better, and what a story that would be if Marcell Ozuna jumped up and really contributed in the postseason. That would be unbelievable.
It would be, and I will say this too. I think the strength of this ball club right now, though, as you said, Spencer Strider, we'll see. This is a big workload for him as a rookie going into the playoffs. But this bullpen for Atlanta, Kenley Jansen has turned it around in the last month. We've talked Matzik since he came off of the DL. This is a very deep bullpen right now, Bill.
Well, they've had a sub-2 ERA in the month of September. It's been tremendous in how well they've pitched, and that's needed. Again, last year, would they have won the World Series without Tyler Matzik and A.J. Minter? Heck no. There's no way. And God knows we know what Will Smith did. He didn't allow an earned run the entire – I can't leave him out as far as heroes for last year, right? He was probably at the top of the list. He didn't allow an earned run the entire postseason. And that, if you want to tell me that Kenley Jansen's not going to allow an earned run in the entire postseason, I'll tell you the Braves have a really good chance of repeating. I can tell you that right now, because that's miraculous when that happens, just for a closer to not allow anything. So, no, the bullpen is huge. You especially because in the postseason now, starters have a much shorter leash. I mean, they just get them out of there quicker in the postseason these days than they used to, and I think that means your bullpen has got to be solid. And this one is. I mean, as you said, Kenley's done much better in September. Rossiel Iglesias has been great. I think A.J. Minter just continues to establish himself as one of the best relievers in the game. And Dylan Lee, look at what he's done. Colin McHugh's been great. I still have confidence in Tyler Matzik. He's not been as solid this year, but he's still a very effective pitcher. And as long as he doesn't walk people, he's got a chance to have a good 1, 2, 3 inning on more than one occasion. So I love the bullpen for this team right now.
Well, we certainly love the conversation, Bill. We thank you, and we look forward to this huge weekend. We know you're going to have blowout coverage of it. Bill Shank's show later this afternoon from 2 to 6 Central Time, and please tune in to the superstations.com if you want to hear great Braves conversation. We always thank you and enjoy the #1 Georgia Bulldogs, defending national champs. They're going to, I think, have an easy one this weekend at home against Mizzou, but certainly we always appreciate your time, and thank you. Have a great weekend.
Now, it was worth doing this segment just to hear you say the number 1 ranked Georgia Bulldogs.
Hey,
right
they're the
there.
best team in the country right now. I've said it. I've been saying I've got to give them credit. They beat the Oregon Ducks, who have looked very solid since the beating Georgia put on them. But they're a very good football team right now, and Kirby's got them rolling. Appreciate it, Bill.
No question. All right, thank you, guys.
All right, Bill Shanks with us. Let's get a break in. When we come back, talk more high school football, Madison Academy style.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at the 347 on I-65. That's Huntsville-Browns Ferry. That one's got a lot of blockage, but I think it's a no injury. 231 in Twin Rivers, that's north of Hazel Green High School. That one had an injury, and they have cleared 72 at Mooresville Road in Limestone County. Need help finding admin, accounting, or medical staff? Snelling can help. Snelling's how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye, Skywatch, Traffic Center.
Football season is here, and as always, the best place to catch every game is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill. Humphreys is celebrating by bringing back their game day football specials. $2.75 Miller Lite, Coors Light, Yingling, and $3.50 Yellow Hammer Gold Pints. $4 Fireball shots. Anytime football is on. And don't forget Sunday brunch with Microwave Day. The best place to catch all the games all season long is downtown at Humphreys Bar and Grill.
Flow Trampoline Park is your one-stop fun spot for your next birthday party. Whether you're a boy, girl, kid, or adult, Flow has you covered. Party packages allow up to 25 plus guests, so you'll be able to bring all of your friends. And with all the fun competition to be had at Flow, maybe enemies too. Party packages will give you access to 60 minutes of jump time, grip socks for all guests, a private party room, and a party coordinator. Flow is behind South Parkway and Drake, behind Cracker Barrel. For more information, go to flowhuntsville.com. Get jumping with Flow.
What's better than Valley Equipment Rental? 2 Valley Equipment Rentals, and that's just what we have now. The original on the South Memorial Parkway between Drake and Airport Road, and their second location on North Memorial Parkway just north of Winchester Road. Valley Equipment is locally owned and has more skid steers, excavators, and lifts than anyone in the area, plus all the small tools that you need to get the job done like a pro. And if you are a pro, you need to check out the new North location now because Valley Equipment has what you need. Learn more at valleyequipmentrents.com.
When I chose a garage door company, I did my homework. I needed Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. They have a 5-star Google rating. I checked their reviews and liked what their customers had to say. Precision Overhead Garage Door has lifetime warranty packages. Same-day service if I call before 2 p.m. If they can't make it the same day, my service call fee the next day is waived. They did a 25-point safety inspection on the door and operator. Now that's peace of mind. Residential, commercial, and gate services. Precision Overhead Garage Door Service. Call 256-400-4500.
Your favorite sports book, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including college football and the NFL. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. Sign up at BetUS.com and use the promo code WZZN. That's BetUS.com and the promo code WZZN.
Hi, everybody. Eli Gold here. Right now, indoor air quality occupies top-of-mind awareness for families and business owners. Rick Smith and the trusted professionals at Environmental Comfort Systems can take care of your indoor air quality concerns with their state-of-the-art indoor air quality solutions. Environmental Comfort's indoor air quality systems remove 99.9% of airborne contaminants so you and your family can breathe clean, fresh air. If anyone in your family suffers from allergies, or if you just want the security of knowing the air you breathe inside your home is free from viruses, bacteria, pet dander, dust, and odors, Environmental Comfort Systems are the professionals to call. Environmental Comfort also carries state-of-the-art, high-efficiency comfort systems that increase home comfort, keep humidity in check, and help you save money on your energy bills. Give my friend Rick a call or visit them online at envcomfort.com and breathe cleaner air today. Environmental Comfort Systems, Alabama license number 92314.
Hey folks, this is Arthur Seaton, Managing Partner at University Kia, here letting you know we are proud supporters of Alabama A&M University football. Stop into University Kia today and shop our large selection of new Kias, including the all-new Telluride 8-passenger SUV, the stylish new K5, and sporty new Seltos. Visit universitykia.com and view all our great offers and get pre-approved in minutes so you can drive home your new Kia today, because we want to see ya in the Kia. Go Bulldogs!
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey Wes, our company Fleming Roofing and Restoration specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a 5th generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
Well, you guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey Wes, we show up.
Great food and the best live entertainment is what it's all about at the Furniture Factory Bar and Grill. Head to downtown Huntsville every Tuesday for karaoke on the only outdoor karaoke stage in North Alabama. Thursday night is the Valley's longest running and biggest bike night. Food and drink specials, giveaways, and live music on the patio. And the Furniture Factory menu is fully loaded with options from steaks to salads, plus a whole lot more. Featuring a weekday happy hour that starts at 3. 619 Meridian Street, downtown Huntsville, and online at FurnitureFactoryBarGrill.com.
This is Steve Moulton from The Drive. Join us this afternoon from 5 to 7 with Wes Neighbors and me. Now back to Talkin' Ball with Scott Tyson and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
It is indeed time for our weekly interview, and of course, this one here is always brought to you by Sportsmed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. They're a proud sponsor of Madison Academy football. They invite you to visit their Saturday sports clinic for all of those sports-related injuries. Each Saturday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m., visit 4715 Whitesburg Drive. Hey, it's that SportsMed Saturday Sports Clinic, and they are proud to welcome back to the show the one, the only Bob Gotze.
Yes, he's in his 4th season at the helm of the Mustangs. They return to 3A Region 7 action tonight as they will host the Asbury Rams. They were out of region last week, but on the road at Madison County, a program where they've had many big-time tussles with over the last few years. They've been region opponents as well. It's been a series that's been with 2 really good programs, and it was a nice test for the Mustangs on the road. They win it 42-20. They played very well on both sides of the ball, especially offensively. Their efficiency was really, really good, and we're going to talk about that. And we're going to talk about continuing to get better and looking ahead to this challenge tonight at home back at Bill Washington Stadium with our next guest, Bob Gotze. Coach, good morning. You're with Drew and Scott. How are you?
I'm doing great, guys. How are y'all?
We are doing well, and Coach, I've got to believe when your football team, so much of success of a team comes on 3rd and 4th down. You have to win the game on those downs. Offensively, you were 12 of 17 combined on 3rd and 4th down on the road at Madison County. You had to be pleased with your offense's execution in that area.
Well, really are. I mean, it kind of plays together. If you can be successful on 3rd down, that means you can maintain the ball. And then obviously, if you're maintaining the ball, that's less plays that your defense has to play. So it kind of fits in together. Defensively, we're getting stops kind of when we need to. We played really well kind of early, then not so well later on. So we're still learning, still growing. But really, really excited about our improvement, and like I said, I thought we played very well, executed very well Friday night.
No question,
Coach. Do you learn more? This may be a silly question, but do you learn more about your team from non-region games or region games?
Well, it just kind of depends. Really, I think it's the competition more than anything. We want to continue to play close rivals, and we're fortunate that those guys are good teams and good programs. And so we want to continue to do that where we don't have to, travel all over the place to play good competition. So we're fortunate to play Madison County. It's always been a rival. It's always been a tough game, at least in the 4 years that I've been here. But, I think we stepped up to that challenge. And, part of the biggest team that we faced this year up front, especially since Deschler, we handled, that very well, I thought. And, we just need to keep improving. And, I know keep, saying the same things maybe over and over, but, those are the important things right now.
They are, and Coach, it's also important, and I know you and your staff, that you don't go into a game when you're calling plays. A lot of it's the look defensively, and of course how your team is executing and how the plays are developed. But when you go back and look at the film, and you had perfect balance, 25 pass attempts, and Carson Crean's efficiency was really good, and then 25 runs. It's very hard to defend a football team that can execute in both areas. Ken Cherry certainly had a great game, and Carson Crean, 20 of 25, throwing the football, 294 yards, made some plays down the field. That offensive balance is really key this time of year, Coach.
Well, we've been pretty balanced most of the year, and that's good. Like I said, we go in, wanting to be, but I think every coach would love to be 50-50, and that's kind of the goal. And then the game maybe dictates how that goes. And there's so much RPO stuff that goes on now with everyone, so that plays into it as well in terms of what is the defense giving you, those type of things. But Carson was like I said, very, very efficient. Even though there's two big ones that he typically hits that may have pushed him over the 400 mark, but he was efficient more so before the play, during the play, getting the ball to the right people as much as actually executing the throws. Of course, up front, we just continue to grow and get better, and that's where it starts. That was probably the most experienced area of our team coming in, that we did have two starters returning there, and really three. Our sixth guy last year, Dale Johnson, moved into a starting role. So on a very young team up front offensively was kind of our most experienced part. So we kind of expect those guys to play well. Austin Chambers starting for his first year, just gets better every game, as does Hayden Knight. He's just solid, doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and where he's supposed to be, very, 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 very dependable. And we need those guys to continue to play. Of course, we expect Brock Horton and Reese Baker both to start for their third year to play well, and they certainly have done that.
Well, tonight, after, as good as that Madison County game was, and as much as you got better, like you do each and every week, it was a non-region game. Tonight, it's back to focus, though. It's back into region play with Asbury.
It is. Asbury's a young program, really a young school, and been around, so they're trying to build things there. We had an excellent week of practice where we really challenged each other, and Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was really, really, really good. We had a lot of growth, I felt like, and hopefully we'll see that tonight. Was able to spend in the way we practice this week, able to spend a ton of time with our younger guys as well. So we need them to continue to grow. They having a young varsity team a lot of times makes it tough on those freshmen and those younger guys in terms of getting them really good quality reps. You don't get to play as many JV games and things of that nature because guys, for example, we start 5 sophomores on defense. Those guys really should be playing a JV schedule, but they're playing on Friday nights, so you can't risk playing them on Monday nights. We have to try to create things in practice to get the work done, get the competition done, try to get some game-like situations going for the growth of everyone. And I think we accomplished that, in practice this week.
And speaking of growth, Coach, I know Ken Cherry and Mario Brewer are huge parts of your offense, and they had 19 touches for 251 yards, 5 touchdowns. They were a big part of it. But more growth was by Jackson Reese. He had 10 catches for you and a big 78-yard touchdown early in the game. And I know you've been really pleased at how he's continued to develop. And I know he's not like a sophomore, but he's still a younger player in that this is only his second full year playing in your program. But talk about his growth as a receiver. I know he's done a great job blocking, and he's done a job, and he punted really well Friday night. But his growth as a receiver to kind of complement Mario Brewer has got to be big for you guys offensively.
Well, 100%. And I really think all of those guys, for the most part, played well. Landon Sanders played well, as did Judge Collins. It was Jackson's turn, and like you said, he's kind of been doing the dirty work for a few games where he was a lot of blocking, and he blocked well the other night. But also, it fell to where he got some catches and did well with them. But the more of those guys, whether it's Jackson, whether it's Landon, whether it's Judd, whether it's Hayden Bodkowski, Mark Drake, the more of those guys that we can count on to make plays, to take a little bit of the heat off of Mario, just helps our offense get better. Jackson's the ultimate team player. He shows up. He works hard every day. His improvement is obvious. On the field from week to week, whether it be punting or whether it be blocking, catching, whatever. And just as he kind of learns all the little things, basically, where to sit routes down, when to go deep, when to, break it off, all of those things, which you can practice them and practice them, but until you do them in a game, it really, it's hard. So just really proud of Jackson, really proud of all of these guys and the strides that they're making. We need that to continue. Then you mentioned Ken Cherry. I mean, who can't pull for that guy? He had a broken leg last year. He had worked really, really hard and had his, had things going to where he would have been an excellent complement to Will Stokes last year, and really would have got a ton of carries. Maybe mop-up duty or second half of games and things of that nature that really would have prepared him more maybe for this year. Instead, he's having to rehab a broken leg. But he never once has complained. All he's done is get bigger, stronger, and faster. And, he deserves, success. And he certainly had that, so far. But he's earned that with once again, showing up and working.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach, what is it going to take then to get that W tonight?
Well, we want to play clean. We want to take the week of practice that we had and the competition that we had against each other, and we want to display that tonight. The rules never change. We want to control what we can control. We want to handle our business, execute our offenses and our defenses. We want to continue to see that growth defensively in terms of fits, whether it be offense, whether it be in the run game or in the passing game. We're continuing to grow in that area. We need that to continue. And then obviously we want to stay healthy. That's a big key as you get into this time of year. Matt Manley's he'll be out for the second game, hopefully getting him back, next week. Our safety, which kind of puts us a little thin back there. Also, it gives us an opportunity to work other guys, which, will help us down the road as well.
And then I thought it was key that you said, Coach, about Jackson with his punting. This is his first year as a punter full-time for you. And then for the place kicking, you guys get a chance to round your special teams into form because with the goals of this program, which is to make a deep playoff run, of course, your first thing is to win a 3A Region 7 championship. But if you do that, as you get into the playoffs and play better competition, being able to execute the punting game, being able to execute place kicking wise, and then kickoff covers and punt return and things of that nature is going to be a huge part of the game that could make the difference in a close game down the road.
You're so correct. We've secured things there. We're to the point now to where we're getting better in those areas. Redag, we mentioned him the last time, has done an excellent job kicking off, with the exception of one squib kick the other night that went about 10 yards. But we're trying to get him to do different things. But as we said last week, new snapper, new holder, new kicker. It just takes time to develop those things. Those guys are really, really coming along. We did not execute like we wanted to on the 2-minute drive right before half, where we had wide open touchdown that we didn't convert on, and then we had a mishandled snap, really a bad snap, hold, and didn't get points there. And that was a situation that we work on every week, and we didn't execute that like we wanted to. But we'll keep working at it to like you said, games can be won or lost in many ways, and we want to cover and execute those ways as best we can.
We certainly know that, and we know that the Mustangs look to continue to improve tonight over at Bill Washington Stadium. Glenn Laird, Steve Moulton on the call at 7 o'clock as the Asbury Rams travel to take on Madison Academy in a key 3A Region 7 matchup. Good luck to your team, Coach. Hope you play very well and stay healthy, but we always enjoy the visits each week, and we appreciate it, and good luck to the Mustangs tonight.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate what you guys do.
All right, that was Madison Academy head coach Bob Gotze with us this morning. And, of course, that interview was brought to you by SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. Give them a call today, 256-881-5151. You just need to experience the SportsMed difference. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center, they are dedicated to providing care that improves lives. SportsMed Orthopedic Surgery and Spine Center. And that is some more high school football talk. And if you look around some of the other stuff, Drew, the 7A games in the area tonight, you got James Clemens and Sparkman. That one is at Sparkman.
Yep.
Bob Jones is hosting Florence, I should say. Mm-hmm. Our 97.7 ESPN The Zone Bryant Bank Team of the Week, the Austin Black Bears will welcome the Grissom Tigers for homecoming. Those are your 7A Region 4 matchups.
Yeah, and Austin's the reigning team of the week, as you know, and we were out there. It was great to see them. Great facility over there at the new Austin High School, and they've played very well since a tough start to the season, Scott, where they played the unbeaten Hartselle Tigers and the unbeaten Decatur Red Raiders, led by our great friend Jerry Adcock, and then they survived a gut check. At home against the Sparkman Senators. And Sparkman has played very well under LaRon White. In Florence, they got a forfeit win over Pinson Valley, but they have turned it around in region play. And so that's going to be really key. Huntsville got a big win last night. You mentioned that earlier in the show. 34-7 on the road at Albertville. And now the toughest part of Huntsville's schedule is coming up. Huntsville 4-2 on the year, Scott. They do have a region loss to those James Clemens Jets, 27-23. So Huntsville's three biggest games of the season are coming up back to back to back as they're going to face, the Florence Falcons and of course the Sparkman Senators and the Austin Black Bears. And so that will decide the 7A Region 4 and probably those top four seeds. And right now, all the top four really, because of Huntsville's win over Bob Jones and because of James Clemens' struggles, right now it's really an Austin, Sparkman, Florence, Huntsville battle. Bob Jones is still in it. That's what's so key about that game against Florence tonight for Bob Jones. They need to get a big win for Kelvis White and those guys. And
probably the biggest game in the area, the biggest game in the state is going to be over in Muscle Shoals.
Oof. Oh, yeah.
And that is
get there early. Maybe get there at 4 o'clock.
That is Hartselle traveling to take on Muscle Shoals tonight.
Oh Lord. It's going to take an hour to get out of the parking lot after that one. That's all I'll say. They're going to need a Scott Tyson police escort to get out of there. So we know he's going to get one tonight to hightail it over here for the Woody Anderson 4th North Alabama High School football scoreboard show. He's going to be emceeing with John Schulman with probably his third Diet Mountain Dew. It's going to be quite a show out downtown tonight at the corner of Holmes and Jefferson Street.
Yeah, 7 o'clock for the UAH Charger tip-off. That's free. That's open to the public. Get on out there for that one. Yeah, that's going to be fun. So I'm going to time it out just right. So we're going to end that. I'm going to leave, and I'm literally going to walk in.
Because I'm just saying.
Do the scoreboard show.
Asbury's you heard Coach Gotze say a building program, so there could be a running clock there.
Yeah, but that's not on the air, though. Yeah. So the Buckhorn made Jemison. Look, Harold Wells, I need you to play well tonight. And I need Buckhorn to play well. I need a lot of passes in this one. I don't need the triple option. Run as much clock, Coach Patterson, is what you want to.
We'll just keep switching games to the main feed. One get over with and have the Randolph Raiders playing Madison County.
We need some clock. I mean, look. 9:40 or what,
Give Scott a chance to get in position by 8:35 at least.
We don't need a games to end. Look, that Buckhorn May Jemison game, it's going to be a good game. Buckhorn needs this one. May Jemison needs this one.
Because Buckhorn still got a lot to play for.
Yeah,
I mean, they can definitely still make the playoffs. And in year 2, Coach Matt Patterson's team fell a little short at 5-5 of making the playoffs. And to progress as a program, he's putting a lot of things in place and putting a good culture there and establishing it in year 2. Making the playoffs would be a big step for the Bucks.
Let's get that final break in. When we come back here, tomorrow's headlines today.
You're listening to Talkin' Ball on 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Got a wreck at the 347 on I-65. That's Huntsville Browns Ferry. That one's got a lot of blockage, but I think it's a no injury. 231 in Twin Rivers. That's north of Hazel Green High School. That one had an injury, and they have cleared 72 at Mooresville Road in Limestone County. Need help finding admin, accounting, or medical staff? Snelling can help. Snelling's how Huntsville's best companies hire talent. 256-382-4000. Captain Nick in the North Parkway, Popeye, Skywatch, Traffic Center.
And now a small business setback, delivered by a kind French stranger.
Monsieur, there was an accident. The windshield of your catering van is, how do you say, kaput? But Progressive has an extensive network of repair shops. Now, we sing about the old days. Brave marin revient de guerre.
When things go wrong with your small business, it's comforting to know you have Progressive Commercial. Get a quote in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Croissance for everyone. Brave.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Covered subject to policy terms and conditions.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
This is Attorney Tommy Sinyard on behalf of Sinyard Law, and again proud to be a sponsor of All Things Football here on ESPN Radio. My son Bart and I started our own law firm July 1 and are very proud and excited to be bringing you our 50 years of collective national award-winning injury trial law experience. Check us out on the web, sinyardlaw.com.
Sinyard Law, nationally recognized, locally respected. If you're ready to lower your utility bills, it's time to call Eagle Insulation. Eagle can handle it all. Attic re-insulation, insulation removal, wall insulation, and new construction insulation, commercial and residential. Our primary goal is to save you money, and lots of it. Typical clients realize their return on investment within 3 to 6 months. That means the re-insulation actually pays for itself and then some. See if we can help you. Contact Eagle Insulation today, 256-755-1556, or log on insulatewitheagle.com.
What can you expect when you shop for a firearm at Bullet & Barrel? Expect great prices. We specialize in quality over quantity. Expect great service. Our professional sales staff is never pushy. We won't talk you into something that doesn't fit your needs. You have the right to make a smart, informed decision. Expect Bullet & Barrel, Alabama's only 5-star indoor shooting range, to support you after the sale. Bullet & Barrel, 3252 Lehman Ferry Road. Like or follow us on Facebook. Come see us soon.
Do you know that your car or truck or SUV may be worth up to 30 or 40% more than it was last year? It's true. Bobby White back again for Woody Anderson Ford, and now is the perfect time to trade in, trade up to a gold certified or blue certified pre-owned car, truck, SUV, or crossover. While our new vehicle inventory continues to build back, our Ford Blue Advantage certified pre-owned vehicles are nearing 100 models to choose from, and a good variety too. Woody Anderson Ford Gold certified vehicles are 6 years or younger with less than 80,000 miles and have passed 172-point inspection by factory certified technicians. They have a 14-day, 1,000-mile money-back guarantee, a great comprehensive limited warranty, 24-hour roadside assistance, and go home with full tank of gas and a fresh oil change. Get nearly a new ride and none of the worries. Woody Anderson Ford, Jordan at Sparkman. Hope to see you soon.
I'm attorney Gary Lackey. You know, you'll hear people say we're like a family, but here at the Lackey Law Firm, that's really true, not just a saying.
I'm Justin Lackey. With my father and my sister, we have a special connection to each other.
I'm Jennifer Lackey. At the Lackey Law Firm, when we take on your case, you become part of our family. You really do.
And we'll always do whatever it takes to get everything you deserve.
If you're injured, you worry about getting well, not about paperwork or insurance companies or figuring out how to get to your lawyer's office. I'll come to you.
We worry about your case so you don't have to.
When you've been injured, we know that your case is probably the biggest thing going on in your life, more important than almost anything else.
And it's important to us too, for one simple reason. Family takes care of each other, and at the Lackey Law Firm, we'll take care of you.
The Lackey Law Firm. The Lackey Law Family. 1-800-4RIGHTS.
No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Listen to Buckhorn High School football all season long.
Landrum down near the goal line, and he's in for the Bucks touchdown.
On 97.7 ESPN The Zone. This segment of Talkin' Ball is brought to you by University Kia, the #1 volume Kia dealer in the state of Alabama. Located online at universitykia.com. It's time for tomorrow's headlines today with Scott Theisen and Drew DeArmond on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
Welcome back. Your tomorrow's headlines today. Really, tomorrow your headlines will be, will Alabama get a win over Arkansas? And just what will the outcome look like down on the plains?
Yeah, what will that Auburn offense look like under Robbie Ashford in his second start against LSU?
I mean, really, those are going to be your headlines.
Ole Miss, Kentucky, who is going to potentially be the second best team in each division.
Brian Kelly did confirm last night, though, that Armani Goodwin and Garrett Dellinger will not play tomorrow for the LSU Tigers against Auburn.
I know Armani Goodwin, of course, is the running back from Hewitt-Trussville, so they've got via Florence, right? Did he start? Well, he started at Florence, and then he transferred to Hewitt-Trussville. But yeah, so that's where he was, and then he transferred and finished his career there, and then was committed to Auburn. But with their coaching change and Gus Malzahn being dismissed and Ed Ogeron before he completely let it come off the tracks, they were able to get Armani Goodwin to LSU. So he's a very talented performer, no question about that. But yes, he played at Hewitt-Trussville, and so I hate to hear he's banged up, headed back to his native state. But certainly LSU has got John Emery. They, as Matt Moscona told us, though, they don't have an explosive tailback, but they're solid back there. Jaden Daniels is really their best runner, and we'll see if Auburn's defense can contain him. And like I said, I'm fascinated starting at 11 a.m., man. Going to have the snacks ready and be cranked up because that Kentucky Ole Miss game in Oxford is going to be very, very interesting because it's two 4-0 teams. And, again, to me, it's deciding, is Will Levis the real deal? I think Kentucky's good on defense. I think they can run the football with Cavassier Smoke from Wetumpka. But how good is Will Levis? Is he really a first-round pick? If he is, then Kentucky's going to have a chance to win this game.
It is homecoming on the Hill for the Alabama A&M Bulldogs tomorrow
Bethune-Cookman, right?
at 2. Yep, Bethune-Cookman comes to town. Bulldogs need a win. They don't have one yet. They're 0-4.
Mm-hmm.
They need a win. Tomorrow, 2 o'clock inside Louis Crews Stadium, and it doesn't get any easier after that. Then it's Grambling State, Arkansas Pine Bluff, Alabama State, Mississippi Valley State, Jackson State down there November 12th. So that is
Coach Prime.
And the North Alabama A&M Lions, head coach Chris Willis.
North Alabama Lions, man, they got to bounce back after last week.
They got their feet up. They got an off week this week. They got
to get it going. They got to work on some things. They got to self-scout because I know they were very disappointed they didn't get that win over Tarleton State.
All right, 2-5.